Here on the traditional lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, in the very heart of specialist medical practice, sits one of the last remaining grand terrace houses which once graced the western side of Macquarie Street facing the Botanical Gardens. Built as a two-storey home by John Fairfax, co-proprietor of the Sydney Morning Herald in 1848, 145 Macquarie Street is now the home of the Royal Australasian College of Physicians. The Fairfax family lived here for only 10 years before leaving for the more fashionable eastern suburbs, leaving it tenanted until they sold in 1921. One of the most famous tenants was the Warrigal Club, a club for gentlemen pastoralists. During their tenancy from 1884 to 1931, the club added 2 further stories to the building, completing the facade that we see today. In 1937, the Association of Physicians decided that the time was ripe to become a college, the Royal Australasian College of Physicians. And their first consideration was to find an appropriate home. Should this be in Melbourne or Sydney, on the university campus or in the city? After some secret negotiations, and with the assistance of a grant from the New South Wales government, the council agreed upon the purchase of this beautiful building at 145 Macquarie Street for the sum of £23,950. Through the impressive Georgian front doors, as we arrive in the entrance hall, the etching of the hand clasping the serpent entwined rod of Aesculapius, Greek god of medicine, is the only suggestion that this place is associated with the medical profession. When the Foundation Fellows first occupied the building in 1938, they had access only to the rooms on the ground floor, the first floor and part of the basement. Tenants occupied the upper floors and remained there until 1971. The decoration in this entrance hall is the result of a later, much more extensive restoration in the mid-1990s by the heritage architect Clive Lucas. This resulted in the removal of many unsympathetic restorations of the past, the removal of false ceilings, the unblocking of windows and doors, and fireplaces were uncovered. A fine antique George III mahogany long case circa 1815, a gift from a notable college fellow, Dr. Jack Cottrell, looks quite at home. Portraits of past presidents grace the walls. A fine circular cedar staircase reminds us of the original gracious family home. Beyond the staircase and the small door which leads down to the basement, the original garden and their series of outhouses. In 1937, the new college replaced these with a state-of-the-art lecture theatre, the Storey Hall, named after Sir Richard Storey, an eminent Melbourne physician and the first president of the Australian Association of Physicians. The hall was demolished during the 1970s renovations to make way for what became irreverently known as the Toilet Tower. An elegant reception desk now overlooks the tiny inner city car park. Turning right off the entrance, we enter what is now the Fellows' Room, a lovely quiet spot in the busy city, which welcomes both fellows and trainees during a visit to 145. Refreshments, internet access, as well as an opportunity to absorb the atmosphere of our heritage building. This was once the main reception room of the Fairfax home. The removal of the wallpaper in the 1970s renovation uncovered the original dados and freezers, which have been recreated and restored. The small frieze between the front windows dates back to an even earlier period. At the time when the college first moved in, it was used as the administration office, and later the office bearers' room. Today the room houses presidential portraits and other important artworks. A small display case housing temporary exhibits highlights some of the treasures of the college's heritage collection. Directly opposite is the original dining room of the Fairfax home, now the Ford Room, so named after Professor Sir Edward Ford. Sir Edward was Professor of Public Health at the University of Sydney and later Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, but he was also a passionate collector of rare books. He served as the library curator for many years. Following his death in 1978, he generously gifted a significant portion of his extensive collection to the Royal Australasian College of Physicians, much of which is now housed in these bookcases designed by Clive Lucas. A bronze plaque of Sir Edward hangs on the wall. Heading now for the History of Medicine Library, we actually leave 145 and enter the building at 147, once owned by the Maitland family. Sir Herbert Maitland, a very eminent Sydney surgeon, consulted in this building. It's said that he died in this study between seeing patients in what is now the reading room. This is a dedicated research area which can be used by fellows, trainees and other guests when using the library. Dr. Maitland's family donated his original nameplate from the building, and it resides with other Maitland memorabilia in this reading room. The History of Medicine Library holds one of the best collections of medical Australiana in the world, as well as many important international volumes, including a first edition Charles Darwin's Origin of the Species. The collection of the college consists not only of books, but also an assortment of interesting medical artefacts of historic significance. Ascending the beautiful Georgian staircase to the first floor, we can appreciate its elegance. The council room was one of the first areas to be renovated after the Royal Australasian College of Physicians moved in. Originally many smaller rooms, walls were removed to create this large space. The Royal Australasian College of Surgeons gifted this table to the new college in 1938 with its wooden inlay and hidden drawers. This space also served as the original library. The first honorary librarian was Dr. Leslie Cowlishaw, a general practitioner on the North Shore and passionate book collector. When he met Sir William Osler in London during World War I, Osler christened him the bibliographer from the bush. Cowlishaw designed the bookcases around the room with the plan that these would ultimately house his own personal collection after his death. He specifically noted in his will that the College of Physicians should have first offered to purchase the collection. However, he died during wartime, and the new college was without the necessary funds, and the purchase defaulted to the Royal Australasian College of Surgeons. The collection consists of over 2,500 books, including 8 incunabula, now a priceless collection housed in the Spring Street home of the Royal Australasian College of Surgeons. We do, however, have the antique bell-shaped library stairs which belonged to Cowlishaw. Books housed in the glass cabinets are rare books. The earliest are 3 incunabula bound together from 1489. Sir Edward Ford donated many of the rare items for see here. The Rosewood Regulator clock was donated to our college by Mrs. Spencer Holloway in 1962 in memory of her husband. During the Second World War, the Royal Australian Air Force Medical Command used this room for top-secret meetings. The President's Room, beside the Council Room, was originally the librarian's office. Today, the President's Room houses many antique furnishings and gifts, such as the oak mantelpiece, which was originally in the Censor's Room of the Royal College of Physicians in Pall Mall, London, and was donated to the college in 1964. The President's Chair, donated by the New Zealand Fellows, with carvings of the college crest and the New Zealand fern. And the early Victorian mahogany partner's desk, which was presented by colleagues of the former college president, Dr. H. M. Rennie, to honour his service to the college over many years. On the wall overlooking the room is a photograph of Dorothy Roseby, the first secretary of the college until her retirement in 1974. And she is one of the only members of staff to be awarded an honorary fellowship of the college. Gifts from other colleges and fellows line the shelves and vitrines. Using funds raised as part of the Jubilee Appeal in 1963, the college was able to expand its operations to the second floor. Currently, the second floor accommodates staff workplaces, including the CEO's office. On the top floor, the Macquarie Room is used for meetings, dinners and other significant events. The adjoining roof terrace has expansive views over the Botanical Gardens and Sydney Harbour. The Norman Carter stained glass window, presented to the college in 1938 by South Australian Fellows, was relocated to the landing here during the 1990 restoration. It embodies the college arms and motto, Hominum Servire Saluti, to serve the health of our people. We hope you've enjoyed this brief tour of the college home at 145 Macquarie Street and now know more about its historical significance. If you would like to learn more, please visit the RACP, our heritage website, for more historical facts and information about future tours. For any other inquiries, please contact member services at racp.edu.au or call us on 1300 697 227. The college looks forward to seeing you soon.